Why do bad things happen to good people? Sometimes you've asked this question from yourself. I'm a good person. I help everyone. I don't hurt anyone. I can see myself as a good person. But still, why all these bad things? Why all these painful things, sufferings happen to my life? Why life always keep testing me always? Well, these questions we've asked most of the times in our life, right? Do you know how Buddha saw this? In the night of his enlightenment, the first thing that he realized was that life is consist of suffering. Suffering is a part of everyone's life, right? So Buddha did not say suffering as a part of good people's life or a bad people's life. Buddha saw that suffering was universal, right? But when we face adversities in life, when we face these realities like painful situations in our life, we think that the only person who is going through this suffering, the only person that is going through this difficulty is only me. That is how everyone feels. Not to lie, sometimes I feel that. But what Buddha teaches us to see it as is to see the suffering as a universal thing. I'll tell you a story. A young mother lost her baby. But she loved her baby so much that she refused to accept her baby's death. What she did? She took her baby and ran from one village to another, one city to another, finding a doctor to cure her baby. But no one could bring a dead person back to life. Finally, she met the Buddha. The Buddha said, "Okay, I will cure your baby. But we need one medicine to do this. Can you bring it? Go and bring a handful of mustard from a family that no one has ever died." So the mother was so much happy. She thought that she could find this easily. So she ran to the village and went to the first house that she found and asked, "Do you have a handful of mustard that I can get?" Then when the householder was about to give the handful of mustard, she said, "Has anyone died in your family?" Then they said, "Oh, my uncle died last year." Then she said, "I don't want your mustard." She went to the next house and she got the same answer. Someone had died. She went to the other one. She went from one house to another and she went through the whole village. The only word that she heard was, "Someone died." Death. Then she understood, okay, death is not only for me. Death was something that I always heard in this journey. Maybe my child is dead. So she made her heart strong enough to accept her baby's death. She went back to the monastery to meet the Buddha and thanked the Buddha for curing not the baby, but her heart. What Buddha teaches us to see about life is that to see the suffering as universal. So next time when you go through a difficulty in your life, and the next time when you go through a hardship, painful feeling in life, understand that you are not all alone. There are so many people who is going through in life that's in the same situation, the suffering. Okay? Most of the time, we try to remove the suffering from life. We always wish that this suffering was not there in our life. Right? We go to sleep thinking that next day morning when we wake up, all these things will be a dream. All these problems will disappear. But the reality is, when there is suffering in life, there is suffering. So that the first thing that we need to do is that accept that there is suffering in life. So the whole point of realizing the first noble truth in Buddhism is to accept the suffering as it is, to see the suffering as it is. Only when you accept the suffering, we can cure it. We can find a remedy for it. First of all, you need to accept that there is pain and suffering in all of our lives, right? And then we can choose what to do with it. Most of the time, we spend a lot of time worrying about changing what we can't change, right? But it all depends on how you choose to react to these experiences in life. Most of the time, these painful feelings, sufferings that comes to our life are blessings in disguise, right? If we did not get difficult situations, if we did not get hardships to our life, right, challenges in our life, how can we develop a strong mindset, right? There's a saying that if you need to learn how to swim, what do you have to do? You have to jump to the pool. Somehow, you have to experience how drowning feels like. Only then you can realize that, what should I do to learn how to swim, right? In the same way, there is no use of trying to avoid wishing and praying that suffering was not there in life, right? There's no point of wishing and praying that, please don't give me suffering. Always wish a mindset that you can face strongly to all these sufferings and painful situations in life. Whenever you get a strong mind to face any kind of challenge in your life, then you can be happy and in peace, because you're ready for anything in your life, right? So always wish a strong mindset that you can face any challenge, any difficult situation in life. So remember that not only bad things happen to good people, good things also happen to good people. And also, sometimes you may think, why all those good things happen to bad people, right? It is not always the case. Good things happen to bad people, and also bad thing happens to good people. That is the law of this world. So we all need to develop the mindset to see the suffering as a common truth to everyone, not a personal thing. So I wish you all, may all of you be able to develop a strong mindset to face any challenge in all of your life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to Inner Guide Q&A program, where we find the answers for our life's problems through the great teachings of our great teacher, Supreme Buddha. So one of our viewers have asked a question from us, that how to stop the bad habits. How to stop the bad habits. So today from this Inner Guide program, we are going to learn and find how to stop a bad habit in our life. Before learning how to stop a bad habit, first of all, we have to learn and find what is a habit and how a habit is formed in our life. Normally, habit is something that we do again and again throughout a long time, and after doing it through a long time, it will become automatic, right? After it becomes automatic, it does not require any effort to do, right? There are so many habits in our life, either good or bad. There are so many habits, right? So for an example, let's take early in the morning, you all get up and you go to your washroom and you take your toothbrush and put some toothpaste on it and you brush your teeth. Now, brushing your teeth is a habit. No one gets up in the morning and think, oh, I should brush my teeth today also. No one become sad or depressed of brushing teeth, right? Why is that? Because it has become a habit.
Because from the little age, from the age that we were as babies, right, we brushed our teeth daily. And with the time, it became a habit. It became something that happens automatically. Normally we get up early in the morning and we just go to the washroom and we brush our teeth. It does not require any effort, right? So that is how a habit is formed. We do it for a long time and it becomes something that is very easy and well known, and it does not require any effort. So there are good habits in our life as well as the evil habits. Now our focus and our main target should be to reduce these evil habits. So what are the evil habits that we have? Normally, the main evil habit that we have is we become angry with people all the time, don't we? We become angry. We get angry with people who are in our families, who are in our workplace, right? Why that happened? Did you think why is that happening? Because we have practiced this anger for a long time and it has become a habit. Now, do you need any effort to be angry with anyone? Do you want to take any effort to be angry with any person? No, you don't. Why? It has become a habit, right? And there is another bad habit. It is the feeling jealousy of others. It does not require any energy. You don't want to think about it. It comes to your mind automatically. And the craving and the lust. When we talk about that, normally we have the habit of craving the things. And the lust has become a habit to our life. So, that means we have practiced these evil thoughts throughout a long time and it has become a habit. And that is how the evil habits are formed in our life. So how to break these habits? Well, there is only one way to do that. And that one way is to replace that evil habit from a good habit. Okay? That is the only way you can do that. Stop a bad habit. Instead of practicing that evil habit, in that time, you can practice another good habit. Suppose you get angry with a person, right? You are a person who gets angry all the time. You are a person who loses your temper all the time. So what you have to do, you have to understand about your habit. You have to understand about your situation, right? Now you have to think, I get angry all the time, right? The first step is to understand about your situation. Number 2, you have to think that this evil habit, this bad habit is not good for my life. It will never make any good for my peacefulness or my spirituality. The more you think about that, right, the more you think about the disadvantages of your evil habit, your mind always try to reject those thoughts. Because you are thinking about the disadvantages of those evil thoughts, right? Normally when we see some disadvantages of a special thing or a person or whatever it is, normally we don't like to be with that, right? If you are going to the supermarket and when you are going to buy something, if you come across and if you see some disadvantages of buying that special thing, do you buy that? No, you don't. Right? Same as that, you have to think about the disadvantages of your evil habits. That is the second step. And then as the third step, you can bring out a good habit to practice instead of that evil habit. Suppose you get angry with people all the time. Okay? So what you have to do, instead of blaming others, right? Instead of blaming for the little mistakes of others, what you have to do, you have to practice to be silent, and you have to practice to spread love and kindness to them. And also you have to train your mind to forgive them, right? Sometimes we may get angry for little things, right? The fights and the troubles that they are going on in the family life or in the workplaces are for very little things we are fighting. Remember, if we cannot forgive the people around us, we will never live peacefully, right? If you don't have the habit of forgiving, you cannot live peacefully, because we cannot expect the people around us to always to do good things and the things that we like, right? They may do weird things, but if we cannot forgive and forget, right, you will always see the mistakes and the wrong things and the troubles that has done by the people around you. The more you see it, the more you will become distracted in your mind. So instead of developing that evil thought, you can develop a wholesome thought. It's like this. Now, there are two sides of our mind. There is the evil side and the wholesome side. Okay? Think these two sides as two animals. Okay? So one animal is very dangerous, right? And the other animal is very calm and quiet and serene. And it is very useful. So if you keep on feeding one animal, suppose you fed the dangerous animal, the more you feed that animal, the more that animal will be strong. And that animal, with the time, that animal will control that other, the wholesome animal. Right? The problem with us is we are feeding this dangerous animal. Right? Instead of feeding the dangerous or evil side of our mind, what you have to do is just feed the wholesome animal. Right? If you feed the wholesome side of your mind, what will happen? It will start to develop. Right? When it starts to develop, it can overcome, it can control the dangerous or evil thoughts of your mind without letting that evil thoughts to appear inside your mind. So what you have to do, just feed, always do and say the things and think the thoughts that feeds the wholesome side of your mind. Then with the time, that evil habit will be broken, and you will find that you always have a good habit instead of evil thoughts and evil habits. And that is how you break the evil habits in your life. So stop feeding the evil thoughts in your mind. Instead, feed the wholesome thoughts and make your life a peaceful one. Namo Buddhaya, Theruvan Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome you all wonderful people and my dear children. This is the third video of Essence of Buddhism video series. So today we are going to learn the 185th verse of Dhammapada, where Buddha describes us the essence of Buddhism, or what Buddha really taught to this world. So first of all, as usual, same as in the other videos, I will chant the words for you, and then we are going to learn the meaning. So the verse goes like this. Anupavado anupaghato patimukhecha sangaro matanyuta cha bhattasmin pantang cha sayanasanang adhichitte cha ayogo etang buddhana sasanam. So let's learn the meaning of it. In this verse, Buddha says, Anupavado anupaghato. Do not disparage others, or do not look down on others, and do not destroy others' lives. This is the Buddha's teaching, or Buddha's advice to this world. Now in this line, Buddha says, do not look down on others. Do not compare yourself with others and do not think of yourself like I am a high-valued person, I am better than them. Right? Simply, Buddha says, in another word, Buddha says, do not be big-headed. And also, Buddha says, do not destroy the lives of beings. This is the first precept that we observe as Buddhists all around the world. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. That means we refrain from taking others' lives, taking lives of the beings. So the Buddha's advice to this world, or Buddha's teaching to this world, is to refrain from being swollen-headed and to refrain from killing animals. And in the next line, Buddha says, Pati mokkhe cha sangaro. Be disciplined according to the monastic code of conduct, or monastic rules. Now this line is referred to the monks actually, right? When it comes to the monkhood, we have the precepts. We have many precepts to protect. They are like code of conducts, right? It purifies our bodily conduct and the verbal conduct. So Buddha advises us to be disciplined. Simply, you can relate it to your life, to be disciplined from your body and from your words, right? So the discipline is a bigger part in Buddhism, to be disciplined, to have a good moral conduct. So Buddha said, be disciplined according to the monastic code. And then Buddha said, Mattanyata bhattasmi. Now this is very important for every one of us, right? What is that? Be moderate in eating. The moderation of food. What do you mean by moderation of food? Simply, it means know the purpose of eating. Sometimes we forget why we are eating. Sometimes we overeat. We eat too much, and that gives this physical uncomfortableness. Now Buddha said, eat according to your health, right? Eat the food to have a better health and to sustain this life, not to enjoy by eating too much and be living an unhealthy life. So in Buddhism, healthiness, or this health, is a bigger part. Buddha said, Arogya Paramalava. Health is the greatest gift that you can receive in this world. So Buddha says, be moderate in eating. Right? Do not overeat. Because when we overeat, our craving and our lust take over our mind. That is why we overeat. So be moderate in eating and know the purpose of the food. Then Buddha said, Pantangcha sayanasana. Now this is also referred to the monks, right? Buddha advised us to live in the forest where you are secluded from the people. You are away from this distraction. Now you may not have this chance to live in a forest or live in a quiet and calm and peaceful place. Maybe you are living in a town in the middle of distraction. So how could you find the peacefulness according to Buddha's teachings? Now remember, the distraction is not really the distraction. You can live peacefully and you can live calmly in the middle of the distractions too, if you find the silence in between these distractions. Because now For an example, if we try to meditate, right? Suppose a distractive sound came up. Maybe someone is banging to a nail. Maybe someone is making some noises. What is our reaction? What will be our reaction? Our reaction will be the anger, right? Our mind just clashes with that sound. So that will be a distraction. If you know how to meditate correctly, right? If you know how to meditate correctly, you can live with that distraction. You can live with that sound. You can be friendly with that sound. When you become friendly with the noises and the distractions, they will not bother you, right? So that is the thing. You can find the peacefulness and the silence even in the middle of the distractions. So don't worry about the place you are living. Try to be peaceful. Try to do a little bit of a meditation. Be by yourself. Be secluded from the people for a little while, even for a day, for a little time in a day, and then you can find the peacefulness. So that is why Buddha said, so to dwell in the forest, for the monks actually, and then adichitte ayogo. Now this is very important. Buddha said, be devoted to the meditation. Meditation must be a bigger part of your life. There are so many people, they are not meditating, right? But meditation must be a bigger part of our life. Because through that meditation, if we are meditating, you will start to feel the peacefulness, right? If you are doing it for a long time, continuously, you will start to feel. The reason why many people doesn't find meditation is so enjoyable is because they give up in the first place. They expect too much from that life. They expect this calmness and peacefulness and stillness in the mind from the first session of the meditation or first day of the meditation. Trust me, that is not going to happen for many people. If there are lucky people out there, it will happen, but for many people, it's not going to happen. So don't expect too much from your meditation. Just you have to hang into the process, keep doing it for a long time, then you will feel the peacefulness. So these are the pieces of advice that was given by the Buddha to this world. This is what the Buddha taught to this world. If we practice this, regardless of any kind of religion, everyone can practice this, right? Everyone can master these skills. And when you practice the Buddha's teachings, surely you will find the happiness of your life. So practice the Buddha's teachings. Be mindful, be kind, and be wise. And then you can live a happy life in this world. Namo Buddhaya.